And welcome back to Nancy's Neighborhood. And I told you I had somebody else from McDonald, Tennessee. This is an important time for McDonald, Tennessee. And I have Tommy Newman on with me. And Tommy's dad started the village at Hawk Creek, which I think is just absolutely wonderful. And Tommy, I had your dad on with me a couple of years ago, and he was in the process of doing the village. So tell us a little bit about the village and how your dad started it and why he started it and anything else you want to share.
Well, he was in the process of doing the village pretty much his entire adult life.
Wow.
He started the first log cabin on our property. The village consists of 9 log buildings and 1 blacksmith shop. And he started the first building in 1968, I believe.
Oh, my goodness.
And he just had a love for the log buildings in particular, but more the pioneer lifestyle, the pioneers that settled this area, how they came to be, the tools they used, where they lived, the structures. He just always had a fascination of that, and wanted to share it. You know, it was just a lifelong thing, and he worked on the village at Hawk Creek pretty much my entire life. I was about 6 years old when they started the first one. But and he liked doing it. He liked putting it together and restoring the log cabins and the tools that were associated with that. And now it's something we can have an open house each year and share with people.
And I think that's great. Now, did he build the log cabins from scratch, or did he find them somewhere and disassemble them and bring them back to the property?
He found them. He found old original log cabins. Most of them are within, in fact, they all are within about 20, 25-mile radius of here. There's a large majority of them that are from right here in Bradley County.
Wow. And
he would tear them down, and they're like a wooden erector set. They only go back the way they were torn down.
Okay.
And he had to label the logs and put them back together. He's got a significant group of buildings that actually came from the E.L. Ross farm on Candace Creek Ridge Road.
Wow.
It was the E.L. Ross home place where E.L. Ross was raised, and 4 of the buildings that we have came from that farm.
Isn't that something? Well, I had heard that people take them down like Lincoln logs.
Yes.
And then reconstruct them, so I didn't know. Were any of them originally on the property where you now have the village?
No, they were not. We had some log buildings on our farm, but they weren't worthy of being restored. They were too far rotten. The closest one I think that would be to us, we have a smokehouse that came from the Triplet farm, which is now part of Bendabout.
Oh, okay.
So just right across Highway 11.
Right.
But yeah, we have several buildings from pretty local.
Well, okay, it's called the Village at Hawk Creek. Why?
The creek running through the property, it wasn't named per se by the TVA system or the local creeks. It's a small tributary, and my father would always see several hawks around, and he named it that. And in commemoration of that, my brother-in-law, who is my sister and brother-in-law, live in Holland, and he is an artist, teaches art, and is an artist in Holland. And he made a brass hawk, basically cast it and molded it, and it's on display down there. It's very nice.
Fantastic.
It's a nice piece of art.
That is great. So the Village at Hawk Creek is just something that you don't want to say fabricated, but something that he
just
did,
put it together. You would not know it wasn't originally there and a settlement or a village from the 1840s, 50s, and 60s.
Wow.
But it was not. He put it all there.
Okay, so you have a blacksmith. You said a blacksmith shop. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, we have a blacksmith shop.
Okay, do you have a school?
Have a combination school church.
Okay,
It's a classroom or a sanctuary, if you will.
Okay. Now, when he brought that in, had it actually been a church?
No, it was a home place on the Ross farm on Candace Creek Ridge Road in northern Bradley County, and he decided he wanted to have a schoolroom / church, and so he he kind of made it to that application.
So, and then the rest of the buildings there are like what homes that people would have lived in?
There's the church. There's a main home place. There's a couple of smoke houses for that, and there's a couple of corn cribs, a log barn, and a structure we call the tavern, which would have been similar of where people traveling through, passing by, would stay, kind of an overnight type
Oh,
thing.
right, like a hotel.
That
Kind
would
of,
be
sort
a
of.
primitive hotel.
Primitive.
Yes.
This is great. I just think that is so wonderful. Now, tell people where this is located, because we don't want it to be the best kept secret in Bradley County.
It's at on Johnston School Road.
Yes.
Right off South Lee Highway, Highway 11. The address is, I think it comes up 345 Johnston School Road. And when you turn off of Johnston School Road heading south, turn right onto Johnston School Road. It's about a half a mile on the left.
And now, you're not open every day to the
No,
public, so
no.
kind of explain how this works.
Well, my father just worked on it and just had it as something he liked and enjoyed, and people were always coming out, and church groups, school groups toured it. And he finally decided to have an open house, and he did. The last year he was alive, actually had an open house, and was very well attended, and so we've decided to keep that going. In large part, my sister has a huge input in that, and my brother works on it. But we decided it's something we would try to keep going. We're going to try to expand it and have more school groups and church groups out. We're working on that, taking it that direction. But it's something my father just wanted people to see and enjoy, and so there's no charge, there's no admission, it's free. We're actually going to provide some barbecue sandwiches for just a
wow.
donation, and we've got local barbecue chef Mike Phillips that's going to do barbecue for us, and there'll be people giving demonstrations.
Okay.
We've got a guy that's coming to show people how they actually hewed logs and made the logs, and we've got I think we have the young lady doing quilts and
Fantastic.
churning butter. We've got a blacksmith that's going to work the
Okay.
blacksmith shop. Just different experiments like that, or just trying to show how they were built.
I think this is awesome. Now, this is also going to be Saturday, which we got the McDonald alumni. So, folks, this is simple. You just go here to Tommy's first, and then go down to the alumni, or go to the alumni and then come up to the village at Hawk Creek. So, what time are you going to be for the open house?
I believe it is 10 to 4.
Okay, 10 to 4. So that's, and I'm not going to get there, Tommy, and I hate it because I'm having open house at the shop. But I think everybody that can get out that day needs to go down there and see this, because I know your dad was really, really proud of it.
He was, and what made him the happiest is showing it to people.
Right.
Telling people about it, kids especially. He loved to have the kids and show them, this is the rope bed with a feather mattress you would have slept on.
So you got one of those too?
We do, and this is how you would have churned butter, or how you would have done your laundry, or we even have a replica of a moonshine still. So.
Oh, good. Okay. So now let's talk about this just for a minute, because it's not open to the general public all the time, just this open house now. But if a teacher in a school, and I know Black Fox comes out there quite often.
They do, yeah.
So how do they get in touch with somebody to set up a tour?
Well, right now they would either contact myself or my mother. I think there is a Facebook page that my sister keeps up, and that would be the best contact. I think that's kind of the way we're moving toward advertising that.
Fantastic.
And I'm not in on a lot of the pre-planning. I get in on some of the work, but
I bet you do.
But it's a family effort, and we hope people come out and enjoy. I think the weather's supposed to be pretty good Saturday.
I think it is too.
And we've had upwards of 600 or 700 people come through.
Oh, wow.
and it's a good time for kids and adults and everybody.
I think that sounds super. So the Facebook is the Village at
The Village at Hawk Creek.
Hawk Creek.
I believe that's what it
Okay.
is.
And well, in fact, I think you could probably just Google the Village
Yes,
at Hawk Creek
yes.
and find out. But I think it would be, if I were still teaching school, I'd call you tomorrow and say, when can I bring my kids?
you
Because
go.
I think this would be awesome
It is.
for the kids. I know when I did teach at Inglewood, I did the month of November, I did pioneer type situation. We did, everything was rotated around the pioneers and the Indians. And I think I should have said Native Americans. But anyway, that would have been, I would have loved to have been able to load it up a school bus and come down to the Village at Hawk Creek. Of course, that was 30 years ago when I was teaching and your dad was just starting that. So, but I think this is just so wonderful that he saw to preserve some of the history of Bradley County.
Yeah, he really enjoyed finding a relic or a tool or a cabin, a log structure that he could resurrect and have there and give people an idea of what it was like to live in 1880 or 1860.
And I think that's what some of our kids need nowadays, because there were no cell phones, there were no TVs, there was no electricity, there was no indoor plumbing. Do you have an outhouse?
We do not have an outhouse.
Oh, you do not have an outhouse.
That's on the list, though.
Okay,
That's on the list.
all right.
But yes, I think that it certainly exposes a totally different culture.
Absolutely.
You went to bed when it was dark, and you woke up when it got daylight, and then you worked.
Which is just about what I'm doing right now on this new time thing we're on, because when it gets dark at 8:15, I think I'm supposed to go to bed.
It's time for
but,
bed.
Yeah, but I just think, I think your dad is to be admired for having done what he's done, because I just think it's fantastic.
Well, be sure and all the viewers out there, come out on Saturday. Go to the McDonald School, to the reunion,
Yes.
and come out to the Hawk Village at Hawk Creek, and it'll be enjoyable. We'll have some live music and
Okay, good.
and lots of demonstrations, and it's good for kids, wide open areas, and you can just have a little family fun.
And it's free except for a
It's free.
donation for the barbecue
Yeah,
sandwich.
and that's totally up to you.
Right,
So, yeah.
and I just think that's great. So, and you do this once a year,
We
or
do,
that's what
yeah.
you're planning to do,
Yeah,
is once
that's
a
it.
year.
We've had it the first or second weekend in November every year. So
All right. And so I'm so glad that we were able to kind of focus on McDonald today.
Mm-hmm.
Both sets of guests were McDonald, because that's a vital part of our community. And what you've done there at what your dad did and what y'all are continuing to do at the Village at Hawk Creek, I just think that's awesome. And I love the fact that he named it Hawk Creek.
yeah,
I just think that's
liked
so
that.
neat.
He
I
liked
think
that.
that's so neat. So anything else you need to tell us, Tommy?
Well, I think that's good. I certainly appreciate you for having us
Listen,
on and giving us this opportunity to.
I appreciate you. I really do, because to me, you know, we have some hidden gems in Bradley County, and they don't need to stay hidden.
That's right.
And this
That's
is one of them that doesn't need to stay hidden. And I hope all the teachers out there will go to the Facebook page and set up a time to load up a bus and take some kids down there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, in the winter, I don't know whether y'all want to be out there in the winter, but
Well, we'll do some. I think we're trying to figure out how to get that organized and a schedule for that. But we certainly want to pursue using it as an educational tool for the children in Bradley County, certainly, and any, you know. Not only universities had some film classes and video
Yes.
and classes out there, and that's been exciting to see.
And I think they did their 100th anniversary
They-
film started out there.
They did some of that, yeah.
And
The
I think-
school, that was a school
yes.
building, yeah.
And I think that's great that they did that. And Adrian, the manager here of the studio, he and his wife played the music to start that out
Yeah,
for that video.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's great. Tommy, thank you so much for being on with me today. Y'all have no idea what I had to go through Holland to get Tommy here, I think, or someplace in Europe to find out how to get a hold of him.
My
So
sister's
anyway.
very instrumental in keeping up my sister Lisa, and she is instrumental in keeping up with the Facebook page and scheduling, and even though she's a long way away in Holland, she's very in tune to what's
She's
happening
right on
here.
top of it.
Yes.
She really is. So, Tommy, thank you so much. Folks, don't go away. Now, we're going to take another little commercial break. Now, remember, watch the commercials and support the sponsors, because they pay the bills. And I'll be right back with some other events. I'll mention these events again, but I'll be back with some more events that are coming up later on this month in Cleveland, Bradley County, maybe even in McMinn County. So don't go away. I'll be right back.